And joining us now here on The Factor Uncensored, we have Leon Wells, who is the husband of Mercedes Wells, and attorneys Cannon Lambert and Trevor Rogers. So, Leon, first of all, take us back to that day when you were transporting your wife to the hospital. She left home in excruciating pain, according to published reports. And when you got there, and your wife sitting in that hospital waiting room, what was that like to see her in pain like that?
It was terrible. It was a terrible experience. I mean, it's a nightmare. I relive it all the time. Um, don't wish this on anybody what we've been through. Um, yeah, we was traveling, and that was the nearest hospital. So we kind of planned it. We called ahead, and it was, we thought we were going to get good service, and definitely wasn't the case.
And your wife, eventually, your child was delivered, not at that hospital, but your child was delivered. Congratulations on that. But that was some hell to go through. Your feelings after seeing that video again on social media, on TV over and over again, what your wife endured, and how, according to you guys, the hospital just ignored her.
It hurts. It hurts. I mean, it's barbaric. I mean, it's not right. It definitely hurts. It's something that it's gonna take a while for us to heal from. I mean, it's definitely hard to even go through it. And of course, yes, we bless her. My wife is here and my baby's safe. But it far as what we've been through, it's not acceptable.
What was your wife's line of thinking? How did she feel after going through that? Obviously, she's fine now at home, but seeing that everyone there was ignoring her, what did she think about that?
So my wife let it cry out that I will always think of to the day I die. She cried out to those to the whole nurse staff. Why are you guys doing this to me? Why are you doing this? I'm in labor. I'm about to have a baby. Like, why? I can, this, you know, and it was, I grabbed her and told her like we're children of God. You guys of God got us, you know, and we proceeded to leave. And as we left, we was accompanied by two nurses that didn't have anything to do with it. And then when we got downstairs, the security was there as well. They expected us to kind of act up, and we didn't fall into the trap because I knew it was a trap. But they expected us to act up, and
And so you go ahead.
yeah, it was just an experience that it's just a nightmare to be honest with you. I just really just even talking about it is kind of hard for us.
And I understand it. And really quick, and I'll get to your attorneys in just a second, but then you guys left that hospital and she delivered on the road. Is that accurate?
That is so 8 minutes after, well, it was roughly 7 minutes. She says, "Babe, I gotta push. Help me pull my pants down." As I pulled her pants down, I saw baby's head.
Wow.
So I immediately called 911. Um, and when I called 911, it was like I should have just not called at all, to be honest with you. It was
What
just me
was
and my
that response like, 911?
nothing. Well, nothing. It was terrible. I was asking, what should I do? What should I do? They're not responding to me when I'm asking what should I do. And I literally delivered baby with no help, no assistance from 911. I thought they was gonna tell me, well, do this, do that, do this, do that. They didn't tell me anything. And they kept asking the same questions over and over and over again. And like as though they didn't hear me. And they was only trying to find out my location. And I was telling them my location. But again, this is 2025. They have my location, but that was the most important thing to them, not making sure my wife and my baby was okay.
Attorneys Cannon Lambert and Trevor Rogers, are you guys blown away by this case? My goodness. Your thoughts about it. Cannon, let's begin with you.
I mean, obviously, this is not something that should have happened. The fact that it did is mind-boggling. I mean, it is deplorable that something like this would occur, where you have a woman who is in active labor being turned away without even being seen by a doctor. Those are the types of things that you don't expect to see in the United States, and it shouldn't happen. But we know it happens more than just in this case. It's happened many, many times, unfortunately. It's just that these folks had the wherewithal. Some of the people around them had the wherewithal to document what was transpiring, what was happening to them.
And Trevor, which direction is this family taking in a situation like this? Are you still investigating, or are you at the point where you're filing a case civilly against the hospital and maybe the staffers there?
At this time, we are looking to have a conversation with the hospital, just to uh, hear their thoughts on how they feel about this, as well as to share our clients' opinion on how they were treated. Like I share the same sentiments as Cannon in that this is just a matter of care that the hospital should have provided. 8 more minutes of care, and the family could have had a normal, healthy um, childbirth. And unfortunately, that's not the case. And so right now, we're looking to have a conversation with Franciscan Hospital, and we'll take things from there.
And what's the status of the doctor and nurse or nurses involved in this case, Cannon or Trevor?
So currently, they've been discharged. The nurse that was immediately involved in the caregiving or lack thereof was discharged. And the doctor who never saw her, but that gave the discharge orders, was discharged. That, though, is just the beginning. We have a saying here in this area that says, when you see something, you should say something. And in this situation, those that were surrounding this situation, the employees of the hospital who saw what was going on, the two women, the employees that rolled Mercedes down, they saw what was happening, saw her in labor, saw her in distress, and they didn't say anything. They didn't do anything, and they were complicit, and they should be terminated too.
You hate to bring it up, but you've heard about it over the decades how Black women are treated differently when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to medicine. Trevor, is this that type of situation? Is this a classic textbook case of a Black woman not getting the attention she deserves in a hospital?
Absolutely. That's what I feel. I think that's what we all feel is what's happening here. Too many cases of where women show up to hospitals and are ignored about the pain that they're experiencing, or they're not given the same treatment as their counterparts. The mortality rate of Black women in America is extremely high in comparison to other races. And we certainly feel like this is one of those instances where there should have been a little bit more of listening as well as care that was provided for a woman who was about to give childbirth.
Leon, at this point, after looking back at what happened with you and your wife and your experience at the hospital, do you feel the same way?
I do, 100%. It's sad and things need to change. I mean, God put this on our plate for it to change, and we accepted it. But things need to change. I'm sorry that we've been through what we've been through. It's terrible, terrible feeling that it's steady a terrible feeling of what we're going through. But things definitely need to change.
And Leon, Cannon mentioned that the doctor and the nurse have both been discharged from the hospital. I assume that's terminated. I'm not quite sure. I'll let Cannon answer that in just a second, but is that enough for you? Or are you looking for more answers, more of a solution, not just for your wife, but for other Black women who may walk into that hospital?
We're looking for policy changes for sure. Yeah, that's just the beginning. It's a lot of other people that was involved. But yeah, that's just the beginning.
And Cannon, when we talk about discharge, did you mean, or for the layman out there, we're laymen, is that firing? And does this limit their ability to practice, or can they go to some other hospital and find a job?
So you ask a great question. I use the language that was used by Franciscan. I think that the clarity needs to be provided by them, which is one of the reasons why we're wanting to meet with them. We understand that they have separated themselves from the doctor and the nurse, but we don't know what that means definitively. We believe that it means that they were fired, but they've not said they were fired. That is language that we can all understand. The other thing is that we understand that even if they were fired from or lack the credentials to practice medicine at Franciscan, that doesn't mean they can't do so elsewhere. And so we're interested in understanding what licensing issues they should be facing, and whether or not there are things that should be and can be done from a licensing standpoint. And the last thing I'll mention is that, I commend Mercedes and Leon very much, because this is a broader issue. It is certainly one that lands heavily on our community, but at the end of the day, it affects many, many women from all kinds of walks of life. And that's one of the reasons why I think U.S. Representative Kelly is looking to introduce the Wells Act, named after this situation, and the Mercedes Wells, to try and ensure that these sorts of things don't happen again.
All righty. And my final question for Trevor is the next step the medical board, wherever this doctor and or nurse may be licensed. Do you take a look at that as well?
We'll certainly take a look at everything. But like I said, the first step is to talk with Franciscan and see what they've done, and see what steps that they intend to take moving forward, and as well as to resolve this matter.
Well, Mr. Wells, we want to thank you for your time and wish you and your wife, your family, the very best. Obviously, congratulations on your new child, but that's a hell of a way to get that new child. And we appreciate you sharing your story here on The Factor Uncensored. And you two attorneys, we want to thank you as well. Thank you all for joining us here on The Factor.
Thank you.